Wilma Gila Gila, thank you very much for joining me. Oh, how interesting. Wow. Thank you for joining me. And I learned from last night's live, I really don't have to project my voice that much. It actually works. I'm a bit softer on your ears. So I hope you're well. I'm okay. It's just been the most shocking of all days. So you have a choice here. Wow, Dot, you made it. Thank you very much. Um, Dot, are you okay? How's your day been? Or how's your Monday started for you? You're obviously going out. You said you're going out. Yes, you did make it. So I've got a choice for you. I can speak about this um, true crime that is so parallel to Summer Utah Wells, Summer Moon Utah Wells story. And um, the plot just got thicker today by none other than one of our ministers in government, our sports and culture minister. And it's just jaw dropping to find out, just to give you a little bit of a background on the guy, on the minister, and then I'll give you a background on the true crime story. Sippy Talker, how you doing? There's owls in the house. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. So this man's name is Gayton Mackenzie. He's a colored, like an African American. We call him colored here. And he's now the Minister of Sports and Culture. His claim to fame was, well, how he became a minister more recently. He launched his Patriotic Alliance political party in 2013, and he became the party's first president. And in our last elections last year, because our government had to make a government of national unity, the ruling party had to invite strong parties to make one government, otherwise it would be a hung parliament. And he was offered the position of sports minister, but he is a total criminal. He, uh, after spending 8 years in jail from age 21 for armed robbery, Mackenzie came to prominence in the early 2000s for his role in the prison expose that eventually led to his early release amid an investigation of prison corruption by the Jail Commission of Inquiry. And he's now the Minister of Sports. But now, what brings us to the story of Jocelyn Smith. Jocelyn Smith went missing a year ago, January. This year, they set up a special court for this entire court hearing to happen. And we couldn't work out what's so special about this. Well, the sports minister is that special about this. Mississippi Talker says, "You're a little dizzy, Sippy." I mean, I was kitty dizzy this morning, says Dot, but other than that, I'm good. Not going out. I have a Fred coming over. Okay, that's cool. Dotty Dot, you were a bit dotty. Sippy says, I'm okay. Sat up all night. Did you have tornadoes? Yes, I was telling Sierra that. How's the weather there? There was tornado in Louisiana. I wonder how, was it Louisiana? Not Louisiana, all along there, but also Indiana. There was a tornado in Indiana. I wonder if Leanie's okay. The weather's shite. No news, anything bad so far. Praise the Lord. Dot says, yeah, I saw about the weather there. Glad to hear you're okay. Good, 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 good. It's the nature of us dingback dinwits. Yes. What was I? I was Batman. I just watched Rose's live, not live, a little 9 minute rant on the products. And I think everything that she's put in her display is not from America. I mean, God, woman, pull yourself towards yourself. Stop arguing me just for the sake of arguing me. It's like it's like the battle of the Titans with South Africa versus the United States in the right wing, for fuck's sakes. And she just sending me these. I said, stop flashing this, stop doing it. I mean, how many times do you want to make a point? I invented the flashing down the toilet. I promised you I won't do it again. I don't want to see it. If it gives you a cheap thrill, my dear demoness in Maine, do it. Go watch that video you made. Go watch it over and over. If it makes you feel good, do it. A trillion times. A trillion times. And then she says, what do we need gold for? What do we need gold for? Meantime, she's dripping in gold. She's got more gold than all of us put together. What do we need gold for? I don't know. What's on your fingers there? Well, South Africa actually, through the years of apartheid, did survive on its own. So the country can survive on its own. We didn't do it out of choice. It was the world that turned their back on us. Black and white. Everybody suffered. Yeah. You must remember also that I lost my train of thought. Anyway, yes, a country can easily survive. Sierra sent a video. There's the cat out there.
Wind is blowing. Hey. The wind is blowing. Things is looking pretty crazy out here. Woo! And the sky too is looking crazy. Oh, and I felt the rain. I feel the rain.
Another video.
I'm taking out the trash, and look. It's like right above my house. I'm taking out the trash, and look. It's like right above my house. Isn't that cool?
Snap your heels, Dorothy.
Strange.
Clip your heels together, Dorothy.
Isn't that crazy?
Beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Yeah. So, back to the story of the moment with the true crimes, because I even sent this interview to, I put Evil Exists, I tagged Evil Exists. You can watch the video. I don't know if you'll be able to understand his English, because he was in jail for 8 years for armed robbery. But he is the Minister of Sports, and he's just made this 1 hour confession about, and remember with the summer whales, the correlations. He's saying she's not dead. She wasn't sold to Sangomas for, they call here muti in Africa, medicine, yeah, or sorcery. She's gone to a much richer family, very, 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 very rich family. And this girl really looks, she's got blue eyes like summer whales, huge big blue eyes. She's a little bit darker skinned, but blonde hair and blue eyes. And she's the same age, the story, the same story that we would argue, well, you can't just say she was sold for eyes and her skin, but this was the story that came out there. And the strangest thing is with his explanation of what's going on, because I'm assuming he is going to be arrested as the Minister of Sports, because this is a war, you see, I've told you before, as we can see, my minister is an ex-jailbird. This country is run by ex-terrorists and convicts, and this is gangsters' paradise. And my province that I live in, the initials is GP, and that stands for gangsters' paradise, but it's the whole country now. This is where gangsters come to stay. Even Hunter Biden came here with Ellen DeGeneres on a safari 2 weeks ago. He lost his security detail. Trump took his security detail away because, unfortunately, he found out that Biden's signature was stamped, or it was auto signature. The computer signed it for him. So Trump annulled the, what do you call it? He was pardoned by Biden. So now that's the same, the Biden mafia family. We've got a mafia party that runs the country. And this is just another party that is also acting like a patriot to the country, but he would bring back the death penalty, which I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't disagree with bringing back the death penalty. Some of us actually agree with the death penalty. We had it until 1994, now it's gone. Now, the other things, what's strange is, because we're going through our political problems, all of a sudden, this white guy pops up on the political sphere of South Africa, which comes from an old Afrikaner, not Afrikaner, old, they're called Rand Lords, the ZAR, ZAR, Zuid-Afrika Rand. It is our currency, and it comes originally from the Dutch, where there is the Rand Corporation in Holland, and it incorporates Amsterdam and Rotterdam. That's the Rand Corporation. And I don't know what the links are to the Dutch East Trading Company from 500 years ago. It must be. This Rand Lord's grandson is now a 62-year-old and fed up with the African National Congress. And because he's got billions, like he's like a Trump wannabe, blonde hair, got the comb over, and he's very modern dressed and funky golfer, talker, whatever. But he knows how to butter up people, and he's been on all the YouTube sites which are like fed up with the government, the big boys with 120, 200,000 subscribers in South Africa. And then we get this government of national unity, and these interviewers, these YouTube hosts, these YouTube um, home armchair journalists get to interview guys like this, Gayton McKenzie, the sports minister, because he's the big hero now, because he's the jailbird that got to the sports ministry. This guy is sitting in the, he starts his story off, he's sitting at the restaurant with the white guy, the Donald Trump wannabe, having lunch. It says, I'm sitting there having lunch with Rob Hersov and this other Scully, this half jailbird from the bad side of town, says this little girl's gone missing. Turns out he knows, and he says now he's introduced to the mother of this little girl. And he says, come and sit in my car. And that's how he gets to know after the lunch with Rob McKenzie. No, Rob Hersov. And he wants to hear the story about the daughter being missing. And then while he's telling the story about the daughter being missing, he's noticing, he's asking questions, noticing the mother doesn't seem like a mother that's a child's just gone missing. She seems at ease and happy that the child went at ease, is gone. It turns out, long story short, the child is in a better place. That's what he believes. The child is at a place with people with super big money, big money, huge big money. The problem is, Gayton, you were just sitting and having lunch with the guy that's got the most money, the white guy in South Africa. That's a guy with big money. And you dropped his name. And now I'm screaming. Hey, if South Africa can do it on its own, great. I think we should all be able to. No, but the problem is South Africa has signed agreements with the European Union. And that's what I said to Rose. We get our maize, our corn, and our corn oil, our maize oil, and our sunflower oil from Ukraine. America gets 42% or 49% of their raw iron ore from Ukraine. Presently, to date. Not the new deal that they're signing. This is at the moment. And what else? Uranium. That's what America gets from Ukraine. Uranium. Because America doesn't have any uranium. What do you need uranium for? Oh, nuclear bombs. Yeah. That's what you need uranium for. Nothing else. Oh, maybe a few nuclear power stations that you know of. What else do they need? What else do they presently take from Ukraine? This is the whole problem in the world. This is warfare with lawfare. And these Africans are thinking the wrong way around. The present government. They're thinking like Team Rose. Go on your own. Go without the rest of the world. Go without America. Because they think they've got now 4 billion from the EU, but that's just mobilized industrial type money, building, not real money into the coffers of the government. South Africa, in my from what I've seen, and I haven't seen a lot, but from my point of view, I mean, I've got sort of family in Florida. Well, not Florida, yeah, Florida state. They were in Vegas. My mom's been to Vegas. They've been to Seattle. I've been to Germany. I've been to England, Ireland. I've been to Botswana, Namibia. There's nothing like South Africa. As a country, we have a lot more to offer. Our infrastructure was built very, very well from the 50s to the 80s. World class. But it has gone down the drain in the last 30 years because of thinking that you can go around begging, asking for money around the world because we produce the most gold in the world. But they don't take care of their own domestic product here. Our government, in other governments, in other countries in the same position of growth-wise, an emerging economy, other countries in the same position spend about 6% of their GDP on public service. That's the ministries, the directors, generals, the ministers, the attachés, the cost of running governments, 6%. Our country spends 16% of the gross national product on our ministers and mayors. It's ridiculous. So instead of putting the money back into the people in uplifting them with education, they've kept them uneducated, which the Afrikaners did the same in apartheid. The Afrikaners were not kept, they were not well traveled, not well educated. They were programmed to think that they were the 13th tribe of Israel, God's chosen nation. They still, the boys my age and younger, they still believe that they are superhuman beings and have this first right to everything. Hi, Ahanan Arlafay. Hi. Mr. Patoka, the Four Corner states would not be wise to mess with prophecy. I am new and you are welcome here. Where are you from? Adnan. Adnan, are you from Arabia? Are you north or are you in Kuwait? Welcome. Welcome. I am in Johannesburg, South Africa. Mississippi Talker says, according to T, we have everything right here in the United States of America. Don't need anything from another. He believes in drilling. I don't. That says Mississippi Talker. If I'm not mistaken, most drill marks would be once again taking over. Well, I believe in drilling. They don't want to drill here. They're going to what? Destroy land that's what? For what? What is it there for? What is the land there for? If you're not going to use the land, if we've got the gas, but we must import the gas. We must buy it from other people. We've got the iron ore, but we don't manufacture it here. We mine the iron ore and we ship it. We ship it to Europe for them to manufacture it into steel. It's ridiculous. That's why people hate me, because I agree with Donald Trump. I agree with smaller government and bigger investment by business and other countries. Make it free for people to trade in your country. But no, they want to steal everywhere. Every government is doing it. Why do you think they put that woman in Myanmar back into jail? Because she stole. She was corrupt. But the international money, World Bank, whatever, IMF, they don't care about corruption. They only care that you pay them back on their terms. They don't care about corruption. They will they will actually bribe the leader of the country to sign, and the leader of the country signs their country away. And then the country goes crippled. And when the country goes crippled, then America comes in, takes over. That's the old way. That's why there's a big change. That's why all the astrologers were saying, this is America's Pluto return year. It already started last year. This is it. Financial markets are changing. Everything's changing. And people don't like change. But that's the only thing that's guaranteed in life is change. Yes, Arab. Well, salam alaikum, Habibi. And Eid Mubarak to you, Adnan. Sippy, agreed. Tell us the Four Corners states, Sippy. Max Smith is here too. Hi, you Max Smith, you good-looking, good-sounding American man. Lionel, I noticed Mississippi Talker dominates your chat, crowds out all others. It's a habit that we learned from Team Rose. we old school. You got to. That's why sometimes we need to time people out. Sometimes, you see. Okay. Dot agrees with you. Mississippi Talker says the Native American land needs to be left alone. Pipeline was a warning. Please. Who cares? Who cares? Why must we stay poor and without? I mean, you farm the land for food. What's the difference? What is the and you actually destroy it. America destroyed the farmlands. Do you know that? They decided they would not have any barriers between all the farms. This was when, what do you call it, big agri took over, and all the farmers agreed to open up their barriers. So generally the farms would be barriered by thickets and hedgerows and trees. Each farm was surrounded by, they had their borders, you know. So they decided if they take those borders away and that more land they can farm on, we're going to get like almost double more farmland. So they all chopped down all the trees, cut everything down. And when the tornadoes came and the wind came and the rains came, and everything was fucked up because there weren't any windbreakers with the trees. The Italians copied them, turns out, because the Italians in the 30s, 40s, they grew up with farmland. This is in the basin of Lombardy, and they grew up with farmland, but of course there's lots of waterways, and sometimes you would get floods, and that's why the houses were actually built a little bit high raised foundations, because sometimes the flood would come up because that Lombardy area was actually below sea level, you see. But now the rivers had all these thickets and trees along them. And the farmers decided to learn from the Americans. We got more farmland. And they took all the trees along the rivers and the canals away to get more farmlands. And, well, you get soil erosion when you get floods. And the trees turned out to be holding up the banks of the rivers. And so the water destroyed all their farmlands. Clever Americans, ain't it? Another fascinating story with the wine, you know, California and America and South Africa. Well, when we were in apartheid, we had some brilliant winemakers, alcohol makers, port, sherry. And when we went into apartheid, then we couldn't even get Havana or Bacardi or Smirnoff. We had to make our own liquors because they were imported. So we made our own vodka, we made our own whiskey, we made everything our own. You can. And we've got brilliant wines here. But now, the Californian wines, they are all the seeds from Burgundy in France and Chardonnay and all these places in France. Those seeds were taken to California because California's got great wines as well. And there was a drought in France and they lost all their crops and they had to buy their own seeds back from California to restart their crops. It's a fascinating story. And that's why we all need each other. We can't live on our own anymore. It's a global village. Welcome to the streets. Thank you for the thumbs up and the likes. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so you get notifications of the next installment. What? Easy Maxi? What's your name? Maxi Easy. Easy Maxi. Maxi Easy Maxi says, how many employees should operate a Social Security Administration? They administer checks in 72 million. No, they administer checks to 72 million. You got 72 million. We have a population of 69 million and we've got 19 million. So it's like 36% we send checks out to. Well, we don't do checks. We give them a bank card and they go withdraw the money. We don't do checks anymore. Mississippi Talker says, Maxi, I participate. I note you may not be real. No, he is real. He is for sure real. He's an Americano too. __ says, you're welcome to speak up, Max. Back to the subject. Max Smith says, Mississippi Talker, see, I made a message on Team Rose channel. What, a post, did you? Dot says, it comes down to waste management. Doge. And chainsaws. It's a joke, Dot. Please don't take it seriously. Mississippi Talker really could care less about the thorns. No, I believe in equality and equal rights. The DEI, they call it in America. They're willing to incorporate straight males these days. Enough said, Mississippi Talker. Dot says, huge yield isn't necessarily great if it's just rots, goes to waste. Talk about that. I remember a time we had a whole shipment stuck in the harbor in Durban, a huge ship filled with maize. And it was just going there to rot because they couldn't offload it. Nobody had bought it, but it was sitting there and we needed to sell it. Imagine that. They don't care about humans' lives, they only care about commodities. Mississippi talker, the natives would. Why do you stop calling them natives? They're originals. Natives is like the wrong word to say. I think the word natives is banned in Australia and here too. We're not going to say native. The American Indians or the tribal Indians would have never done any of that. They will stand their ground. Yeah, Mississippi, we wouldn't be able to be speaking like this, yeah, if we just still lived in teepee tents. Hey, Max. Max came in. You said there was a sale on teepee tents. How you doing, Ricardo Sunshine? Good to see you. Thank you very much for saying hi. We're talking a hodgepodge of stuff here, but mainly commodities. We're trying to act clever. Maxi says, but Social Security is not welfare. We all pay into it from our paychecks. We don't have really a social security as such. But we do pay, money to the tax man, and we've got something called value added tax. And that's what the argument is about. They want to raise that. So anything that the consumer buys is adds, you have to add 15% to the government. Over and above, if you earn, I think, what is it? Equal to, let me see. I think it's how much? Tax. Tax bracket. Really? They changed it now. Wow. Personal income tax. In South Africa, you are required to pay income tax if you earn more than 95,000 Rand. So 95,000 Rand divided by, I know, 18.5. So if you pay, what? I never know. I'm such a bad mathematician here. $5,000 a year, then you have to pay what? How much percent? Above that, which income tax becomes payable is 148,000. It's so confusing where they say that. But what is the percentage of tax? I think it's like 65% you've got to pay. It's ridiculous. Or 60%. All the people that are earning big money are paying huge tax. Huge. The more you earn, the more you pay. Plus you pay the 15%. 50% of your money goes to the government, plus you pay 15%. That's what I'm trying to say. And then 20,000 people, 20 million people are without work and being paid for by the government that comes out of the taxpayers. Yeah. And that includes people with disabilities, single mothers. Per child, they will get an amount of money. And you can imagine how much corruption there is in that. Then say nothing no more. When the Minister of Sports is involved with the kidnapping and sale of a little 9-year-old girl or 8-year-old girl, whatever her age was, then you must know. They aren't Indians. No, they're not. They are indigenous people of North America. And we call them American Indians. You may call them natives there in Louisiana and Mississippi. Is it good to call a person a native? Here we go. The impact of words and tips for using appropriate terminology. Am I using the right word? Native. The term native is often used officially and or unofficially to describe indigenous peoples of the United States. Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, Alaska Natives, but it can also serve as a specific descriptor: native people, native lands, native traditions. Diversity. It's important to acknowledge the diversity of indigenous peoples' cultures, traditions, and languages throughout the Western Hemisphere. When teaching about the particular tribe or nation, learning and using accurate terms specific to the community can prevent stereotypes and encourage cultural understanding and sensitivity among your students. African Indian, sorry, American Indian, because we do have real Indians here, by the way. We have the biggest, we are the nation with the largest Indian community in the world, outside of India. American Indian or Native American. American Indian, Native American, or Native are acceptable and often used interchangeably in the United States. However, Native peoples often have individual preferences on how they would like to be addressed. To find out which term is best, ask the person or group which term they prefer. When talking about Native groups of people, use the terminology of members of the community used to describe themselves collectively, which I would say, example, the Tomahawk, the Apache, the no, not Idaho. Cherokee, blah, blah, blah. There are also several terms used to refer to native peoples in other regions of the Western Hemisphere. The Inuit, the Yup'ik, the Eliot people, and the Arctic see themselves as culturally separate from Indians. In Canada, people refer to themselves as First Nations, First Peoples, or Aboriginal. In Mexico, Central America, and South America, the direct translation for Indian can be negative connotations. As a result, they prefer the Spanish word indigenous, comunidad, community, or pueblo, people, a tribe or nation. And why so many names? American Indian people describe their own cultures and the places they come from in many ways, and blah 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 blah. Let's catch up with you. Who let the dogs out? Oof, 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 oof. Ricardo. Hi, Dot. Zzz. Sippy Talker says they they now are separated to certain land, but you watch that land will be attacked again. They are the natives. Yes, it's okay, okay, it's okay. Forgive me, I'm sorry. You know, I do make mistakes. I'm not American. I just know what we're all going through as Western whites on this longitudinal. Well, I could be a little bit colored actually, for all we know. Sippy says this country would not be so screwed up. Greed took over. It's the same everywhere. Woof, 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 woof. Maxi says the tax is about 8%. Oh, yeah. But then you still got your state taxes as well, I hear. I heard it's quite tough. In certain places, Dot was explaining. Mississippi Topper says, we pay in the tax for Social Security. It's called security for a reason. Got to get rid of fraud. Maxi says, corporations in America paid 45% income tax. Today, it is 5%. Really? It's changed, eh? Sippy says, tax in, tax on, tax is fraud. Well, you know, the Muslims, they do not believe in interest. Now, America only found out about the interest in the last couple of years and inflation. I bought my first car with 30% interest. So if the car was 50 grand, I had to pay an extra 30% on that 50 grand. So it was 86,000 that I had to pay back for the shitty little car. It's crazy interest. Now, Muslims refuse to do business in loans with paying interest. It's against their religion. Now, being a country, our richest group in South Africa are the Muslims. They're the most powerful money-wise. And so to do business, you really need to know your ways about it. And our big major banks now do certain Muslim traditional loans with no interest. I don't know how they work it. I suppose bank charges. They just double the bank charges. Who knows? Tigger, you want some foodies? Are you starving there? I need to feed the cat. Maxi says there is no fraud in Social Security. Ricardo says unlawful taxes can get fucked, to be honest. Sippy says define native. Here in Africa, they taken it as offense to be called native. We're foreigners if we're going to call them native. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you want to be called a foreigner in your own homeland, then don't call the original first native a native. That's all I'm saying. They take offense. Because of colonialism, you weren't a colonial country for the last 250 years. Okay? We've only been decolonized in the last 30 years. Okay? Americans know everything. You only know what you know in your country. The rest of the world is not run like America. Please take no offense. We're just learning. Dot says, in my 45 short 45 years, I've heard Indian, Native American. Yes, I just read that here now. It's actually, First Nation is very Canadian, and I like that. I appreciate that. But it's also, it's like so woke. You know what I mean? It sounds too woke. Are they from India? Yes, they were You see, that's where we get our colors from. That's where we get the Indians from. Slavery. Gandhi was in jail in South Africa. We put Mahatma Gandhi in jail here. He was a huge problem to South Africa because he protested without any guns. He protested with his words. He was such a clever man. But we put him in jail. We did, South Africa did, under the British rule, I think. And you see, we have, my last cut, that's why I had to postpone the live another hour, because I just had an Indian offspring when we had two colonies. We have two coasts, the East Coast, the West Coast. The East Coast was British. The West Coast went Dutch, British, Dutch. British. They fight each other. Yeah? Hundreds of years ago. But they needed slaves, you see. They needed slaves. They needed slaves to grow the grapes. They needed slaves to grow the sugarcane. Where did they get the slaves from? Well, came from the East, because there was no Suez Canal between Egypt and Israel to go through the Red Sea to get to. They had to come around the tip of South Africa. So Cape Town, South Africa, became a trading post between the East meets West. Yeah, remember Marco Polo went east. Now these ships were all. This is the Dutch East Trading Company, it was a bigger company than all the online Facebook, Google, YouTube, all together combined. It was a bigger company then, 400 years ago. And they brought these slaves back here to build the land here, to mine here. Where did they come from? India. They were the untouchables. I don't know if you've heard about the untouchables. They were unwanted people from India. They were slaves. And so when they came down here, the governments, the governor at the time, they would climb off the ship and they would ask name, surname, and make a registrar. And so the Indians say, okay, my name is, take a name, find a name. Whatever the name was, some of them didn't even have names. They didn't have birth dates. They just got the date that they landed here. They chose their first name, and their last name was Governor. Governor, 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 Governor Sammy, Reddy, and these names have been passed down over the centuries. The different then, we also on the west, that's the East Coast. On the West Coast, we had slaves coming from Malaysia, Muslim slaves from Malaysia, and they came to help the farmers with the wines. But remember, it was just unused land. There was no black-white thing then. It was a new land, a new way, and people just got on with living like America was with the pioneers. There were blacks and whites and Indians, and everybody was just getting by because you were starting a new life because you were a slave and you were going to work, and there were slaves. I don't know. Eventually, over the years, the slaves mixed with dark-skinned, with light-skinned. There were times when the Christian woman, white woman, got so sick and tired of the white men for being drunkards and gamblers that they found themselves a Muslim husband, because the Muslim man doesn't gamble, doesn't drink. And so we got this mixed up cultures. That's how Afrikaans was born. My supposed home, I was born Afrikaans, but I can't speak it well. we became English because it was an embarrassment to be an Afrikaner. Because there was always this war between the Dutch and the English, the Afrikaans, and the Afrikaans came in to communicate with the, and Afrikaans was first written in Arabic. It's registered in schools. Afrikaans was taught in Arabic. So these were Muslim slaves in the Cape on the West Coast. And the Indian slaves, that's why today we've got the biggest nation of Indians in South Africa. But the difference is with the Indians and the Muslim coloureds and the Africans, the original nation, who want to do with nothing with the whites or the coloureds or the Indians. The Indians work their asses off, they study, they become doctors, engineers, councillors, politicians, educated people because of Mahatma Gandhi. The coloureds, because of Islam, because of Muslim, they also upgraded themselves. Unfortunately, the Africans were just kept back, not only by the whites, but by the Africans too. Like even the American slaves who came from Nigeria, they were bought from African black slave owners. Enough history. I need to feed the cat. Watch this quickly a little bit. Just a little bit, wiggle it, just a little bit. I don't know if you understand him at all. How far have I gone? Now even. I was having lunch with Robert in some place near Saldanha. We're just having lunch. While I was having lunch, the councillor of Saldanha, the PA councillor of Saldanha, is Vernon Fracho, called me and said, can you see me and come and brief me about a child that's missing because her mother is a member of the Patriotic Alliance. I said, that's fine. Come brief me. When he came, my lunch just finished with Rob herself, and I said to him, sit down, have something to eat, what's happening? He's telling me this child is missing. He says, Press, this child is missing. And this child's mother is a member of the Patriotic Alliance. I said, really? I said, okay, I'm going to have a meeting here, another meeting. I will join you guys this afternoon to come and help you search for the child. I went to join him. The afternoon I got there, they were searching for the child. I didn't join them to search. I was sitting in my vehicle. And he said to me, he's bringing the mother. That's the first time in my life I saw Kelly. Kelly came and she just said, my president. She just came and she said, my president. She hugged me and everyone was looking at us, and I said to her, no, jump in the car. We will speak in the vehicle. She jumped in the car and we sat there, and she said to me,
my child is missing. I said, who's got your child? She said to me, it is the black people there in the squatter camp. I said, huh? She said, it's the black people in the squatter camp, they have my child. And I start chatting to her, and she's like, let's just drive around. And she just wanted to get away. I said,
Thanks,
Mama, don't you
Dot.
think we should
See ya.
help to search?
Thanks for joining.
She said, no, let's just drive around. I wasn't about to leave the scene because I want to know if those black people,
I know,
as she
Mr.
say, as a
Bitalka.
child, I need to be here to make sure that nobody, there's no violence. Next moment, I started chatting to her. And the more I chat to her, I get this feeling that everything about this.
No, Maxie. Nelson Mandela was arrested and went to jail for blowing up the parliament buildings, and 2 people died. And because he was the head of the military wing of the African National Congress. He was the president of the military wing of Mkhonto Wesizwe. That's what Nelson Mandela went to jail for. And he wouldn't ever denounce terrorism because he was not a terrorist in many white and black people's eyes. They are not native. Okay. Who? The white people are not going to be native for much long in Britain. I'm sorry to say that, Ricardo. Native here means first, yes. The Nigerian is here, and the Nigerian's in the house.
Person is not the
How's this guy's eyes? I mean, shapeshifter is the first thing that comes to my mind.
actions of a mother that has just lost a child. But I'm like, trauma makes people act different. Trauma makes people act different. So I said, no, man, it's time. Let's just drive around. Let's be cool, me and you. I realized there's something here that is not making sense to me. I then said to her, no, it's fine. Let me, and she said, no, I must still go to the police station. I said, you go to the police station. I'm going to remain behind and search. I stayed behind. I couldn't leave. I just couldn't leave the fact that I don't know where that child is. Next moment, we're searching, but then we're hungry. We haven't had dinner. People are still searching. I then said to Divan, go to KFC and buy, I think, 30 or so barrels of food for all the people that's searching here. Because we can't eat and leave these people here. When the people were eating, I said, listen, I have to go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I came back the next day to come and help look for Jocelyn. We start searching, and then somebody came to me and said, no, they saw somebody walking with Jocelyn to they call this thing, I want to get the right name. It's like a dam there. He said the person walked in that direction. I then said, where's the cop? Then the cop came and said, listen, this man has information. Can you go and see? The cop, there's a white man I met. He was the cop. The man was, let me go and see. Next moment, this gentleman, the cop, I don't see urgency in him. Because this is the first 48 hours to 120 hours. But I don't want to judge him. Next day, The cop is nowhere to be found. I'm still searching. But I'm friends with Kelly that time. By then, I didn't tell no one except Divan and Eddie and my guys. I called them the evening and said, listen, I don't care what you guys see, but this woman knows something that she's not telling us. Then she told me about Nigerians that took the child. I'm like, Nigerians? The other day, you said it was black people. Today is Nigerians, but I leave her. I keep her close to me. I confront the cop. I said, sir, can I ask you a question? Is this your first missing person child that you have investigated? He said to me, no, there was another child that was missing, but that person died. So I said, so this is your second one? And the first one passed on. He said, yeah, they found a body or something like that in Saudana. I said, fine. I keep on looking for this child. I kept on looking for this child. Now I'm obsessed with this case. Like, I don't want to go home. We just want to make sure that the commissioner is not in trouble here. We want to know who can carry guns. I said, no, I only have 3 here, but I'm lying to you. So I tell my guys, 10-3-3. 3-3. I point Divan, I point Brocky, and I think Lalo was together. I make Vicky and the other guy jump in another car. Next moment, and we're going to search for Jocelyn. The cops are going for. After they came to our bakkie, after we spoke nicely, the cops are going for Divan and them. They arrest them. They arrest Divan, Eddie, I think, and Brocky. They take them to the police station. They say, what have we done? No. Just bring your and they take the guns. Now, I can't have protectors with no guns. I can't have protectors with no guns. So then I'm like, oh, they want me to leave Saudana. So without bodyguards, I can't walk around here in the middle of the night without protectors. So they took the guns. They just locked them up, like just kept them for 4 hours in the police station. So now I'm like, something big is happening here. Next moment, people say, I take Kelly. I take Kelly to Spur, start giving. So I check Kelly's phone, says her phone is not working. I'm like, what? I buy Kelly a new phone so that we can trace, the cops can trace her and whatever. I buy Kelly a phone. I give Kelly money. I'm winning Kelly's favor. I'm now seeing that Kelly dominates Buddha. Kelly dominates Buddha totally. I'm close to them. They start telling me stuff. I'm the one that Kelly was like close to now. By then, I'm 100% sure this woman knows where Jocelyn is. I'm trying to follow. The cops then took them away and booked them in a guest house. Not us, the cops, with the municipality. They booked them in a guest house. I'm like saying to my guys, that is good. Maybe they're recording them there. They're recording them. So now we don't have our firearms, but Vicky's got his firearm. And Tyler and Habibi, they still have their firearms because I told the protector of Petit Trailer, no, those are the guys. But this protector is not a protector that is a policeman. That when the minister comes, he was guarding the minister there, so I can't say he's his bodyguard for sure. Fine. Now we're sitting, guys. Somebody's trying to get us off this case. Kelly then start talking stuff, and every time there's a new suspect that is the case, telling me this. Kelly's giving me addresses to go and search for Jocelyn. Fine. Next week, Peggy Kelly really sent 720 cops. 720 cops. They come, they look for Jocelyn, they look for Jocelyn, they look for Jocelyn. There's boats, there's everything, the cops. Now I'm thinking, but why don't you take action against the people that set up the cops? Why is the DA now silent? Now you have the police from the Western Cape, you have the cops of Bekkele, you have the local Saldanha police, you have the intelligence. They start fighting. They start fighting with each other. Now the ones that's close to us is telling us, no, this ones you mustn't give them information. But everybody wants information from us. By then we think we're working with the cops. So one day I can't keep my eyes open. Tivan said, no, I must go sleep. I go sleep. Tivan said, he's not sleeping. As I'm sleeping, I just slept. Tivan comes and he knocks on the door. He says, Mackenzie, boss. I'm like, yes, what's up, Tivan? He says, the cops are looking for you. They have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He says, they found the grave of Jocelyn and they're about to dig it, but the community does not want to leave. The community told him they are not leaving. He says, we are sure Jocelyn is at that grave. I said, fine, let me go. I was so tired. I haven't slept for 3 days. I was holding my eyes like this to keep it open. But I left Cape Town. I go back to Saldanha. I go to the garage. There's a garage there, engine. There's a colored lady working there. I buy all the chips, all the cold drinks. I buy that shop. I buy everything in the shop. And I go to the people. I said, Mr. Mensa, let's eat, but you have to listen to the cops. You guys must go home now. I'm instructing you as your leader. Those people didn't argue. The people of Middle Post will tell you the truth. They didn't like what I said. I said, let the cops please go home. I will keep you informed what is happening. I told them, Biza, I said, you don't leave. Go sleep in your car. The cops left. The people left after my instruction. I also left because my job was to assist the police. That time I'm thinking we're working together because there's no police that told me I've interfered. There's no police. They're asking me for help, these people. Biza comes the next day, he says to me, Press, when you left, these people also left. Nobody guarded the place. Nobody guarded the place. Biza was angry. I said, Biza, something is not making sense here. Shop. They go. We didn't hear. So Estin speaks. Kelly says to me, you see, who was at the house? We're painting the story now on our own, but we don't tell the cops.
So, very interesting. That's why everybody left. There's one way to get everybody to leave. I apologize for that. Anyway, it's time to leave. It's time to go. Thank you very much for watching. I will put in the description the link if you want to watch the rest of this confession. And it's funny I wanted to call last night's live confession time, but I suppose yes, no. To me he looks guilty. I think he's part of it all. It's just my impression. That's the good thing that I am not. But I mean, anyway, you can go and watch it. So how's the weather looking there, Mississippi Talker? Yes, his eyes, just the iris doesn't look right. It looks like a goat's iris. You know, the goat's iris goes slit that way instead of a slit this way. Anyway, that's all for tonight. It's late now. It's 10 to 11. We're 11 minutes to 11. Yeah, let's talk about the flushing one more time. If you need to flush anybody down the toilet, please go and watch Team Rose flush me down the toilet. It's quite amusing. And she's got baking soda. She's got baking soda. Remember, life does get tougher, but we all get smarter. We can do that together. And if we try a little bit harder every day, it does get better. Peace. Shalom. Shalom. Salam alaikum. Ek is lief vir jou. Ich liebe dich. Sun for now, as Mississippi says. Thank you for joining Mississippi. Thank you for joining me. Dot, thanks for joining Ricardo. Thanks for joining Maxi. Maxina. Maxi. Sorry. I'm terrible. I know. Thank you for your thumbs up. Appreciate it. Look at all that. I didn't get any goals here. No, nobody feeling the love. That's fine. I understand. Maybe next time. But I really appreciate it, and I have fun when you keep me company. I love you all. Hamburgerle, salagarle, choose, giabonga, which means thank you, and baie in Afrikaans. Giabonga is Zulu, and au revoir is French. Tot ziens is Afrikaans. Ek is lief vir jou. Ich liebe dich. Tschüss. Bye.